Alright guys, so for today's trick, we need the deck to be thoroughly shuffled by a spectator. So let's say the spectator gives it a nice thorough shuffle. You guys can see all the cards are completely randomized. This could be a borrowed deck as well. But for this trick, we need the spectator to select any card. So it's a completely free choice. Let's say they go ahead and select this one over here. I'll turn my head, but please go ahead and remember this card the best that you can. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of shove it in the middle of the deck somewhere, just like this, and give it a quick shuffle. Could even have the spectator shuffle the cards if they so please. But let me just hold the cards here so you guys can clearly see that all of these cards are indeed shuffled and randomized. So, in fact, we can actually take this a step further and we can shuffle it in kind of an interesting way where we take half the cards and turn them so they're facing the wrong direction. And if we look now, we should have half the deck face down and half the deck face up. And if we shuffle these together, we now have a huge mess of facing up and face down cards going all throughout the deck, just like this, every which way. You can see both directions going in completely random ways. But as a magician, I have to do my best to try and find your card, but also straighten out the deck. And luckily, I actually know how to do both in just 1 second. 1, 2, 3. And just like that, we actually get the entire deck to straighten out. But look, one card remains face up, and that is the Four of Hearts. And hopefully that is your card. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this performance. And if you did, be sure to stick around for the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So as many of you probably know, this is a trick called Triumph. It's a very, very classic plot where you mix the cards face up and face down, and their card is the only one left facing up in the deck after you do some magical gesture. And this is another variation of it. I've done many variations on this channel before, but this is just another one that I came up with recently. I think it looks visually very, very nice, especially the shuffling process. I think it's a very convincing Triumph shuffle. So I'll show you guys exactly what it looks like and how to do it. So completely impromptu trick. You can do this with a borrowed shuffled deck of cards, but once the cards are shuffled, you're gonna have the spectator select any card. Let's say in this case, we'll use the Four of Clubs. And as they're looking at the card, you're just gonna get a break on the top card, and you're going to be positioning for a Marlowe tilt. It looks like you're inserting the card in the middle of the deck, but you're just placing it in the second position. But because of the raised card, it gives the depth illusion that you're placing it deeper into the deck. But once you square up the entire deck, their card is now the second card from the top, and you can continue to shuffle the cards. Just make sure to maintain that top stock on top so that Four of Clubs does not get removed from the second position. So once you're in this position, you can flip the cards over and spread through the deck just to show that the entire deck is shuffled and their card is lost. But right before I actually spread, I like to get a pinky break on the bottom two cards. You can do this by pulling down with your pinky. It's a little bit more advanced, but if you aren't super comfortable with that, you can also riffle from the back two cards, and so you get two cards with your pinky. But you're going to be spreading through the cards, just showing the spectator that the cards are shuffled, but you're not going to go all the way to the end, of course, because you don't want them to see their card on top. Just kind of stop around the top third of the deck. But what you're going to do is square up the cards, but leave them sort of messily squared up, because this gives you justification to do a half pass, which is essentially a way to rotate and 180 the bottom two cards. So they'll now be turned over on the bottom of the deck. I won't go into a full in-depth tutorial on this, but basically you are sort of using your fingers to rotate the cards like so, and then the cards will be rotated, and then you can sort of use the deck to finish off the full 180 rotation. But you do this rotation like so, and then once the rotation is finished, I like to spin the cards in my hand just to sort of cover up any sort of discrepancies. So at this point, you have the bottom two cards rotated, which is going to be their selection and a random card. And what you're going to do now is you're going to get a pinky break on the bottom card, and then you're going to transfer it to a thumb break, and then you're going to swing cut half the cards from your right hand into your left hand, and you're going to be explaining to the spectator that you're going to now shuffle the cards face up and face down. And before you split your hands once more, you're going to just move your right hand on top of the left and very quickly drop off that thumb break. So now that card that you were holding on the bottom of the right hand is now dropped to the top of the left. And you're going to do this as you flip over both of your wrists. You're going to flip your right hand wrist like this and your left hand wrist down like so. And it's going to hide the fact that you just dropped this card off. So it should look something like this. And now you're going to execute a Pharaoh shuffle. And this does not have to be a perfect Pharaoh shuffle by any means. The only thing you want to do though is you want to make sure that the top card of the right hand packet is going to be the top card over here. So you want this 3 of clubs, you want this card to end up on the top of the shuffle. But not only do you want the 3 of clubs to be the top card of this half, you actually want the bottom card of the bottom packet here, of the left-hand packet, to be the bottom card of the deck. So you want the 3 of clubs, whatever card's facing up, to be the top card, and then the bottom card of the left-hand packet to be the bottom. That's very important that you do that. So once you get the Pharaoh shuffle situated like this, and like I said, it does not have to be perfect by any means, you're gonna rotate the cards so that you have the facing up 3 of clubs on the bottom, out-jogged face down cards on top. And this is my favorite part of the whole trick, because this is just visually so fooling and so deceiving, because it really, really looks very convincing that you now have face down deck, and then you're gonna flip over your hand and flick through this and show the face up cards. So all this is you're just gonna flick through roughly half of these, and you don't have to do the whole thing because you don't wanna accidentally flash that bottom card. So just kind of pick up like half and then riffle, show the face down cards. Then you're gonna completely 180 everything and do the exact same thing. So don't go all the way, because then you'll see that face down card, but start like halfway and riffle through to show the face up. And when you're in this position, you can really bridge the cards and shuffle them fairly like this. And what that will do is essentially this. The entire deck is now facing up except for the top and bottom card. How amazing is that? And you'll notice that the top card is their selection and the bottom card is the 3 of clubs. So once you're in this position, what I like to do is kind of cut to random spots and flip over my hands just to show the messed up nature of the facing up and face down cards. But at any point, you're gonna cut close to halfway in the deck, and then you're just gonna simply thumb off the top card into the middle, which is going to be their selection. And this will essentially place their selection in the middle of the deck. So now that 4 of clubs is in the middle, and all you have to do now is flip the cards over and get rid of this face-up card. And you could do this in a multitude of ways, but my favorite way to do it is by doing a Cardini change, which I do have a full tutorial for up here if you want to see that. But if you do this Cardini change like this, what happens is the card actually ends up getting rotated and replaced face down on the bottom of the deck, so that you actually completely end up clean. You can very cleanly spread through the entire deck now, showing every single card to be face down except for their card. So I think that's definitely the cleanest way to finish off this effect. Another kind of cool visual way to do it, you can get a break on the top 2 cards. So get a break on the top 2 cards with your pinky, and then you're going to get your fingers under there and kind of get the second card into a palm, and then you can rub and drop the palmed card on top, and then block push over some cards to hide that 3 of clubs, because that card is still face up on top. This way looks very visually deceiving, but it does require you to do some more cleanup in the end, because then you'll have to get rid of this 3 of clubs just like that by doing a little KM move in the end. But if you guys don't want to do that, you can obviously do the Cardini change way as well, because that's a much cleaner ending. But yeah, essentially you end in this position with their card as the only facing up card in the deck. But yeah, that is essentially the entire trick right there. I think it's a really cool variation of the classic Triumph plot. I think it's a very fun and simple way to do it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know how it goes if you try it out. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you did, be sure to subscribe and stick around for the next video. So yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.